How you doing, y'all? Welcome to Confidence. On today's episode, we're going to go real deep. To be honest, I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to say this stuff to you, but I'm just going to let it come out naturally, to be honest. We've really got a great podcast because today we're going to be breaking things down in a different way than we have before. I want to talk about what doing the work should feel like and look like in a relationship. And then also maybe what doing the work for yourself also looks like. I asked you guys, what is something that you are battling internally in your love life? And I pulled a fuck ton of responses. So what I'm going to do actually is not respond to all of them individually, but I'm actually going to show you guys a batch of them and we're just going to talk about them in totality because I think that there's like a bigger underlying message that I think that you guys need to understand and see and hear in order to really understand like the culture of dating and why things sometimes feel so heavy in that regard. And we're going to get into maybe how to reverse that even for yourself. We're also going to talk a little bit about the imperfections that life is and relationships are and how you are. And you know what sparked a lot of this? Two things. Number one, my own imperfect relationship choices and things that I'm discovering within myself. But there was also a story that I have about this girl who reached out to me and she hit me up because she didn't know what to do in her situation. So I guess pretty quickly, summary version of what she was going through was she's like dating this guy. You guys know how it goes. It was really good at the beginning, good vibes. And then, things started to change as for most people in most relationships, right? The mask kind of comes off and like 3 months into the relationship, he's getting really angry and criticizing her and telling her that she's the reason that he's not doing well in his own life, right? He is angry almost at her, probably at himself. Let's be honest. That's really what it is. And he is taking it out and lashing it out on to the person that reached out to me. And what he was doing was he was telling her that she wasn't actually happy. He was like, no, you're lying to yourself, right? And what he kept telling her was that, relationships take work. We both need to do work on ourselves. It's not just me. It's also you. You're not that happy. And he's almost like pushing this on her. And so she's coming to me and she's like confused because she's like, Chris, like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty happy person. Like, I don't know what he's really talking about. I don't think that I'm that way. And I think she's just really struggling with the idea that, oh my God, things were so good. And now they're so not, now he's angry. Now he's struggling with himself. And now he's also kind of pushing it on me. And I don't know what to do because I think she's like clinging on to this hope that she's going to get the old version of him back. If she sits through the bullshit, then, she'll figure shit out. And a lot of people are in these kinds of relationships where they're sitting in these relationships where, things were good at a time and now not so much, right? Very tumultuous. I have a couple situations you guys sent in about this too. And you don't know what to do because I think a lot of people talk about relationships being work, being hard, right? Being able to navigate these like uncomfortable moments. And I think what people don't realize is there's like a difference in work. So I got this thing off of Substack. Well, a girl sent it to me and it was off Substack. By the way, I think I'm going to start writing on Substack, I think either this week or next week. So look out for that. I'm going to add it to the newsletter email as well too. So fuck it. Maybe I'm going to start writing all this shit too. If you guys are interested in that. But honestly, the quote that she sent to me was fucking awesome. And I think it's a really good way to set the stage for how I want to respond to this because this is what the quote is. And not a direct quote, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was said that a relationship isn't work like a 2-hour commute. It's like an artist creating a masterpiece. Now, do you guys see the difference between those two things? Like, both can be arduous at times. Both can be uncomfortable at times. Like, I think about for me in my own journey, right, of being an artist, like, the reason that I'm able to navigate discomfort or navigate, some tough moments or moments where like maybe I feel like I need to be more disciplined or accountable, is because there's this underlying passion and love and reciprocation and energy that I get from doing that kind of work, right? It's fulfilling to me. It's not hard in a way that's like, oh my God, I hate doing this. This doesn't feel right. I'm throwing up. My stomach is in knots. I don't know what to do, right? I'm feeling like shit. I want to throw up or whatever the fuck it is. That's not what it is. It's like, obviously you're going to have to put in energy into the things that you really care about and the things that you love. But what I think people miss about like relationships being work, it shouldn't feel hard in like the way of like your body is resisting it. You feel like you're struggling, right? It shouldn't feel like struggle. Like when I'm creating a masterpiece, that's what he said, right? The artist creating a masterpiece. You're not struggling through it. There's a difference, right? When I came on this podcast, I had to prepare for it. Like there was things that I was writing. Like, yes, can I say it's like sometimes it's a little bit annoying? Sure, right? But there's love behind it. There's good energy behind it. Yes, it's work. Yes, it takes energy, right? That's what it is. It takes energy. But this replenishes my fucking soul, right? And really, the right relationship in your life, that is how it's going to feel. There might be moments where there's a little bit of discomfort, but you shouldn't feel unsafe. It shouldn't feel so fucking tumultuous, Jesus Christ, the words, that, I don't know, it just feels like you're resenting it. You shouldn't feel resentful towards something that you love. And the only way that you would feel resentful for being in it is that truly underneath, there's a disconnect. You don't actually feel aligned to what it is that you're doing. I guess the idea is this, and what I've been telling you guys in general about my life in general. I do everything from a place of love. Everything. This podcast, my videos, if I create them, right? In a relationship, I want everything to come from a place of like, wow, I love myself and I love this thing that's in front of me, and I'm doing it because I fucking love it. It doesn't mean it's not hard. It doesn't mean that, like, for instance, when I go to the gym, it's like, yeah, there's strain in that. But weirdly, there's a joy that comes from it, right? There's a fulfillment. It gives back to me the energy that I put into it. That's really what it comes down to. And I think when people hear like, oh, relationships take work and blah, 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 you shouldn't be putting your time and your energy into something that is not replenishing your fucking soul, that is not giving you good energy back. That when you do navigate a vulnerable conversation or something hard, that you don't come out on the other side and you feel closer. You feel more even deep in love, not more disconnected, not more confusion, not more negative energy. That's not doing the work. That's you struggling. That's you choosing something that's actually not in alignment with you. So let's go back to this situation just for a half a second. So what she's feeling in her body is, and I asked her, I swear to God, she sent me this whole fucking paragraph. You know how it goes. Everybody tells me their situation. It's every fucking detail in the book. And I asked her a really simple question. I said, if you trusted yourself and you loved yourself at the highest degree, what would you do in this situation? She said, probably leave. And let me ask you guys something about, let's just say, let's take your job. Maybe you're commuting to your job right now. And it's funny because I coach a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, right? We do career, we do relationships, whatever it is, because really what it comes down to is inner security. And we're going to get to that today. We're going to talk about fucking loneliness and the disconnection that people have from themselves. But really what it comes down to is like, you might be commuting to a job right now that you don't really fucking love. And ask yourself, why are you doing it? And most people will be like, well, it's work. That's what life is. It's just hard work. It's discipline. I got to make a living. I have a job. And that shit to me is so soulless. And that's what I'm trying to say. Between people's jobs, their relationships, all this shit, they put up with stuff that they don't really fucking love. And honestly, to me, it's because maybe you have this hope that the thing will eventually pay you back, right? That's the people pleasing. Oh, well, if I do it for long enough, eventually I'll get the outcome that I want, which is probably happiness or peace, and it will come eventually. You got to choose your happiness now. You got to choose your peace now. And so many people just, they run around it. So again, back to the girl and her situation, I asked her that. She said, probably leave. Now, the hard part is for most people, that jump is too hard, right? When I swear to God, people will tell me that, like, I asked them, I was like, if you weren't attached to the other person's opinion, you weren't attached to your family's opinion, what would you do in this situation? Oh, I'd probably quit. I'd probably leave this job. I probably wouldn't be working here. Oh, I probably wouldn't be in this relationship. You know what I turn around and tell them? Do it now. Do it today. What happens for most people? Whoa. Ego is like, whoa, hold on a second. Why is that, right? Because we built our identity around it. It's very difficult to smash through that fucking wall and choose the shit out of yourself. It's the scariest motherfucking choice you will ever make in your life is choosing your fucking self. It is true. And we'll get into why, right? Because there's deep-seated fear. There's fear. And usually that fear is attachment to how the other person views us, right? Us feeling responsible for our partner. Us feeling responsible for how somebody else views our choices. Oh, but what if my parents disown me? Oh, but what if a Sally next door has a negative opinion of my relationship choices, right? Maybe I'm happily married. I got a situation in here about this. We're married for so long and we're in this situation where we're both kind of feeling like this isn't right. What's holding you back from fucking leaving? And a lot of the times it's because people don't want to look stupid. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to make a wrong choice. I asked one of my coaches this week. She's like, well, I'm just afraid to make the wrong choice. I asked her, I said, what is the wrong choice? Define what the wrong choice is. We got to go deeper. I tell you guys all the time, if you have a fucking thought in your head, take a second before you take it as God and take it as bond and ask yourself why you're having the thought. So I asked her, I said, oh, what do you mean you're afraid to make the wrong choice? What's the wrong choice look like? Well, the wrong choice would be like, what if I do something and then I'm like judged for it? What if I do something and I regret it or I'm judged for it? Why would you care about that? And you get deeper and you realize, oh shit. The only reason that you're afraid to make the choices for yourself that you want to make is because you're afraid of what that choice would represent to other people. Not the fact that you want to make the choice. It's just the fact that if I make a choice that I want to make, that somebody else from the outside might perceive that choice and think I'm stupid or think I'm dumb, right? Take the marriage situation. You leave that marriage. Oh, what are my parents going to think? What about the Christian community? I walked on that fucking stage. It's not a stage. It's an altar. I walked on that goddamn altar and I said, till death do us part. And I was 24 years old and I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I mean, again, your intentions were what? Pure. They were. I bet you when you got on that stage to marry that person and you said forever, you truly meant it. That was authentic. But guess what? Life can change. You can change. You can grow. Things can be different. Take the situation we were just talking about. It was so good at the beginning, but what's happening now? The true colors of the situation come out. Think about the times where you were so excited for a fucking job when you were first out of college and you're like, oh my God, I got my dream job. That was Chris. I'm a management consultant. Oh my God, I'm the best. I'm going to make so much money. Yay. And then you get into it. They're fucking working you like a goddamn dog. You're like, damn, this isn't what it was cracked out to be. It's because what happens for most people is they make these motherfucking giant ass assumptions about what life is going to be. Meanwhile, they have no fucking clue what the life is going to be. Honestly, I'll take another situation. I'm jumping today. Sorry about that. Eat it. But my best friend, I don't want to blow up her whole spot, but she was kind of a stripper. She is. She knows it. She's a dancer, as she likes to call it. A dancer. I'm like, hell yeah, baby, dance away. She's like, it is soul sucking. She hates it. So what happens is she devises a plan to get out of it. So I'm supporting her through this. I'm like, yes, fucking do it. She's like, you know what? I want to get into the service industry, but I just want to do something different than this. Like, I feel like I love bartending. I love service work. I don't know why I ever went away from it. And I feel that will really help me get back on my feet. And then maybe I could work on a different business venture, right? So she goes out and she starts applying to all these different jobs. One little thing too is that she was applying to these jobs and I was like telling her, I was like, listen, shoot for the motherfucking stars. Shoot for the stars. So many people sell themselves short based on these beliefs they have about themselves. She originally thought to herself that she couldn't really get that good of a bartending job because she hasn't had experience in a while. She's been away from the bartending scene for a good amount of years. So she just felt to herself like, oh man, I got to start something small. So she actually got a couple offers from like smaller restaurants and bars in Arizona. And you know what? I was like, yo, why don't you just try, like I said, to just go for it. Just go for the fucking best one that you could find. So she ends up applying to all these different places. She starts getting these offers from these really nice fucking restaurants. And so one day, really recently, she turns around and she's like, Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. I got an interview at this place. She's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to jinx it, but I'm just letting you know I interviewed with them and they said that they were going to reach out to me, again, or at the end of the day today. I was like, cool. She's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is though, because again, I don't want to ruin it. Like if I don't get it, like she was going to be disappointed. Right. So, what I turned around, right, and said to her, right, she texted me about this, and this is a legit conversation we had. She's like, we'll be in touch today with an answer. I'm freaking out. Pray for me. I was like, I'm praying for you, but remember, desire without attachment. What's meant for you will be. That's what I said to her. And then she was like, thank you. Okay. Next thing you know, later in the day, I guess she hadn't heard anything yet from this job. And she reaches out to me with a voice note. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't need to do this, but she's like, I'm going to be honest with you. I want you to explain the concept of non-attachment because sometimes when I hear that you're using it, it feels like it means not caring. It's like not caring about what it is that you're going after because for her, she felt dismissed by me, by my response, by telling her non-attachment, desire without attachment, what's meant to be will be. And she's essentially saying like, how can I not have feelings about this? Like if I don't get this job, like what the fuck? Like that would suck. Like I would be upset. Like why would I not be allowed to be upset essentially? And she essentially felt that I was dismissing her feelings around this job by saying that to her. Like what's meant to be will be and desire without attachment. And she was pretty much just saying and asking me to explain what I mean by that. And so that's what I said. Correct. Desire without attachment. Now here's the thing also too, quick caveat. I do not take responsibility for people's feelings anymore. I knew my intention behind what I said, right? My intention was supportive. It was not dismissive. I wasn't trying to put her down. But how did she take it? Because she was scared about not getting the job and I said that, and I think she was having a reaction about the feelings about maybe not getting the job, she turned around and kind of freaked out on me. Legit. She sent me a voice note freaking the fuck out. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Desire that, like, I can't have feelings. It kind of feels like you're just avoidant. Like she felt like I was just not being vulnerable with her or like being supportive. So again, I don't take on people's feelings anymore. When people have a reaction like that, right off my chest, right off my shoulders, because her reaction is hers. How I meant it was how I meant it. And I own my truth. So didn't let it bother me, right? Turned around. This is what I said. I said, correct. Desire without attachment. I desire it, but I'm not tied to the outcome. It's not avoidant. I was like, that's a belief that you've created around it. I know it's an amazing opportunity, but you have no idea if it's truly good for you, which means you're projecting how amazing it really is when you don't even really know. I'm not trying to shut you down. I'm trying to help you desire something, but also be okay if the outcome doesn't go your way. Intention was supportive. Your perception took it as dismissive. I can empathize with that. Not saying your feelings are incorrect or invalid, letting you know my intent regardless of messaging. That's how you communicate, by the way. But with that being said, turned around, she got the job. She was so ecstatic. She got the job. She was like, wow, like I was on the top of the mountain when you sent me that message. And she was like, reading that changed my whole perspective on it. And this is what I was trying to say about like the marriage thing with people, right? And how they can't go back on their vows almost. A lot of people, they don't realize, but you're making an assumption about how amazing this thing is really going to be when you don't fucking know. And it's based off an assumption. And that's what I was telling her about this job too. You're thinking about how amazing it is. She's already creating the fantasy of how her identity would be different with this new job, even though she's never even worked a fucking day at the goddamn job. And this is exactly what I'm trying to say and tie all of this into, I mean, even stuff that we were talking about last week, the desire without attachment, where people get their identities caught up in this decision that they make, thinking that they have all the answers. And you don't. All you have is the present moment. You don't know anything else that's going to happen in the future. That's a fallacy. That's false. When people commit on stage on a marriage, I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong. Guess what? It's an intention, right? And I think when you truly love something, you commit yourself to it, right? That's why, again, it's back to the artist masterpiece thing versus the commute thing. There's a difference. When you fucking love something, the commitment is so much easier. When you truly love it. And that means truly loving it without it being like some sense of pleasing or that you're trying to get to an outcome. Like there's people that commit to things thinking that it's going to bring them happiness. That's wrong. You got to commit to something already happy as you are and doing it from a place of wholeness and doing it from a place of fullness. Not that that thing is going to bring you additional happiness. There's too many people that get married thinking that it's just the next step. And that's just a thing that we do because we need to, because this is what shows other people that we are committed to each other. Not we are actually committed to each other because we fucking actually love each other without feeling attachment. So I guess that's what I'm trying to tell you about, like, again, a job or marriage or a relationship or even just whatever you think that you're going into and you think that you fucking know what it's going to be. You don't know what it's going to be. All you have is right here, right now. And that's why I tell you every single time, you have to choose peace and happiness in the present. No potential. Fuck potential. Potential doesn't exist. And that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean you can't make a future commitment, but the only thing that you could truly commit to is something that you genuinely love from a place of wholeness. And most people are not at a place of wholeness. They are not. And that's why they end up in these situations and they don't know what to do because now they've committed to something, right? Thinking that that was going to bring them happiness. It doesn't. Right? They're in a situation, or maybe they thought it was and it did for a while, and now they're in it. But because they're so attached to the idea of that being the thing, they can't trust themselves. They can't be in the present. I mean, think about this girl, right? I asked her, if you had the most amount of self-trust and self-love, what would you do in this situation? Oh, I'd probably leave. But why can't she leave? Oh, well, it was so good at the beginning. Oh, well, I made the assumption that when I committed to this person early on in the process, based on the first 2 months that we were together and it was good, that we'd be together for a long time. So now guess what? I got to stick to that. It's crazy. And again, I understand it. It's not a bad thing to commit yourself to something or to give something a chance, especially if you do care about it. So here's what I guess the ultimate advice that I gave her was, here's all you can do. I was like, here's the thing. Maybe breaking up with him might be just too quick, right? That's a lot, right? It's overwhelming. That's an identity shift that's too fast for most people. To choose yourself for a lot of people is too hard. So Chris, I got to give it to them in small bites. I'm cutting up their pizza, I'm putting it on a fork, and I'm giving them small bites. So you know what I told her? I said, okay, let's do this instead. If you can't just leave the relationship, which fine, why don't you just tell him your truth? Be grounded in your truth. If you feel that what he is telling you is not true, say it. Own it. Tell him, no, I am happy. No, I am at peace. No, this is your problem. This is not my problem. And what I told her, I was like, naturally, you will get your answer. Because if you keep going down this road with him and you do it with brute honesty and ultimate self-love, your answer will naturally appear. With the direction that they're going, I mean, again, in the years of experience that I'm doing this, like, you know, where's that really going? Let's be honest. Because her answer's already right there. She's just struggling to choose it. But if I could help her choose her truth, eventually it will naturally happen for her. That's the best part. Is that it doesn't matter. It's going to go to the same direction, but maybe she's just going to take a little bit of the long way, which makes sense. Because why? She feels responsible for his feelings. And just like most people do in this universe, we feel so fucking responsible for that other person that we can't choose ourselves. Because we're attached to how that person views us. We're attached to the story that we told ourselves when we committed to that person. But what is your feelings telling you in the present moment? That's all that fucking matters. It's all that matters. And it's not to slight her and say that she's wrong for trying. It's okay to try. I'm on board with that, right? If you care about somebody, give them that space, right? Relationships aren't perfect. And you don't need to explain your relationship choices to fucking nobody. Right? We all have our own inner work. So, okay, that was the other thing too, that I wanted to talk about this too, is he kept telling her, oh, well, you have work too. It's not just me. We both have work to do in a relationship. And so she's getting confused, right? Because, and this is what I told her, the work for everybody looks different. You can't tell somebody else what their work is. I think I could, honestly, because I'm an unbiased. And if you're coming to me to get an honest reflection, it's different than asking your partner. I mean, your partner might have a little bit of insight, but most people don't even fucking listen to their partner. Honestly, they really do not. But also sometimes too, when you're asking your partner for what work you need to do, you can't. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's like insider trading. There's too much bias because you have ulterior motives. You care about the person. Most people are trying to control each other with emotionally. They are, right? That's why when, like, for instance, an anxious avoidant girl or an anxious girl tells the guy that he's narcissistic and that he needs to just commit, the problem with that is there's a bias. You want him to commit to you. Yes, maybe his work might look like more vulnerability, but actually his vulnerability might actually be that he doesn't really like you that much. It's not to commit to you. It's that he actually needs to break up with you. That's actually his work. His work is the opposite. So let's go to this situation with the girl. This is why it's so great. When he's turning around and he's projecting all this anger on her, right? That's his work. His work is to recognize that he is deeply insecure and that his anger is on him. He's feeling hurt about himself that he needs to handle. And this is what I'm telling her too. And I was like, here's the thing. He's telling you that you need to do work on yourself in a relationship. But guess what? The work for you might look like, wow, you don't trust yourself. And actually the work would look like trusting yourself and setting a boundary with him. That's the work for you. The work is not working on it with him. That's what's funny is he's trying to convince you that the work for you is to work on it with him. Actually, the work for you, and if I was your coach, would be like, no, the work for you is actually for you to trust your feelings and to see that what you're seeing is accurate. That's the work for you. So that's the thing is sometimes people like throw the word work at you. And automatically, most people think, okay, this means I need to argue with you more. I need to sit around here and fucking struggle in this relationship that is clearly not working. And that's the work. This is doing the work. We're doing it together. That's why when people come to me with relationship problems, like it's like you got to go to them individually. Like, yes, again, relationships take work, but that's when you guys have mutual respect and mutual desire, and it mutually still feels peaceful. If it's very arduous and there's like I don't know, it's explosive and argumentative, and you're feeling sick and you're feeling like something is not right, that's not doing the work. That's you choosing a struggle that you don't need to choose. Those are two different things. Like I said, it's like going to a job you fucking hate. You don't need to do that. That's a lie that the world has told you. That's a lie that that other person is spewing to you. And that's the best part, is the answers are within you. They're not in a fucking book somewhere else. They're not in the air. They're not in the other person. Ask yourself, how do you feel? Does it feel right? Do you feel fear? Do you feel anxiousness? And that's what I'm trying to say, is like when somebody's trying to tell you how to behave and they're not like an expert in the field, they're just your fucking partner that, like, you know, barely goes to therapy or like doesn't really do anything. No offense, these people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They're just projecting their insecurities on you, which is keeping you stuck. But the problem is you're so insecure that you can't get yourself out of it. You're both insecure, believe it or not. And the funny part is you both think that you're not insecure. And you both point the finger at each other and say, they're insecure. And then they're looking at you like, you're insecure. And I'm like, both of you are motherfucking insecure. But you guys, the funny part is most of the world thinks they're secure. You guys are not. Hi, it's a mess. That's really, that's why I said this is a deep podcast in this sense, because the reason that dating is difficult, you would say, and again, it's only difficult to the people that see it that way, by the way. Your beliefs create your reality, right? If I'm a person that looks at dating as not arduous and not difficult and peaceful and happy, guess what? The type of people that I attract. Guess the energy that I attract. If somebody comes around and shows up in that energy as being dismissive, am I chasing that bullshit? Not for a motherfucking second. Because I'm like, what? No. Goodbye. Who do I attract? Think about my energy, right? It's very loving, open, vulnerable. Who do you think I'm going to attract? Is dating going to be hard for me? No. Because I'm secure in myself. So usually, there's a lot of people that I meet, because again, I would say the world is probably, honestly, it's like 80% insecure. You're going to meet those kinds of people. But the more that you go deeper on yourself and you do this work on yourself and you trust yourself and you trust your feelings, you'll get out of these situations so much quicker that they almost feel like they're non-existent anymore. But to my point, the reason that dating feels so hard is because most of us feel lonely. Most people feel lonely. Most people are so disconnected from themselves. Most people are disconnected from their feelings. Loneliness is not about the other people. I'm going to bring up a real definition of loneliness, and I'm going to show you guys the difference. So here's what I want to do first before I do all that, is I want to show you what people said about what they are facing internally that is going to wrap up my point in a bow. So here's a couple of the responses that I got in terms of like, what the fuck did I ask? I asked, what are you battling internally in your love life? Let me check time, make sure I'm good. All right. I said, what are you battling internally in your love life right now? And here's some of the responses. Not finding a real connection with anyone. It seems like people just want a casual thing. I'm torn between wanting to be chosen deeply and wanting to stay safe from being truly seen. Part of me craves warmth, closeness, and being special to someone, but the other part of me panics at the idea of real attachment, expectations, or dependency. Been in a situation with a man for well over 18 months because of this, but any and all other men give me the ick instantly. Desiring intimacy, but being too avoidant to go after it. Finding genuine and authentic men. Everyone I meet just wants to hang out, relationship vibes, but never commits, unrequited. Deciding between not being complacent versus leaving a comfortable life. Too scared to put myself out there. Feel like I don't know how to interact with potential love interests. I'm struggling to get along with myself. I feel empty. Feeling like I'm the problem. Why is it so hard to be single after being in a long-term relationship? I always feel like a girl would never go for a guy like me. How do you boost confidence? The narrative that I'm not good enough. Myself. Insecurity and that men only want me for one thing and not the entirety. Let me ask you guys a question about what I just read to you out loud. Does that sound, and this is like, you know what I'm saying? This is the sample size, right? I asked that question and I got a bunch of responses and they're all looking like this. What does that tell you about the dating pool? What does that tell you about society and our culture? Most people are so fucking disconnected from themselves, so fucking lonely, so insecure. And they are trying so desperately to find genuine and deep connections, but no one is intimate and deep and true to themselves. They all think that they're the problem. And if they don't think that they're the problem, they think that other people are the problem, which to me is just a projection of their lack of depth themselves. Truly. Because like I said, for somebody like me, like I don't feel this way. I don't feel empty. I don't feel like I can't find genuine connections. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I encounter a lot of people where I see the lack of depth? Because clearly we have a pandemic of loneliness. We have a pandemic of people that are just so deeply not rooted in who they are. Why do you think people in dating show up this way? When you're saying, oh, I can't meet genuine people, no one's genuine themselves. No one sees themselves. No one trusts themselves. People don't feel safe to be themselves. And why is that? Because everybody is attached to the way that other people view them. Deep down, subconsciously, everybody is afraid of the world. They feel like they don't know themselves, so they got to find it in the world. And somebody else in the world knows themselves better than they do. So that's why you have all these followers. That's why you have all these people that follow influencers and follow everything they fucking say, that go to church, that do all these random things just to fill this fucking hole. That's why people are in relationships. It's because most people feel empty in themselves. It's not because they feel whole. They're not doing it from a place of love, internal love. Everybody's doing everything from a place of lack. That's why there's no depth in dating. That's why there's no depth in this culture. Because no one has met themselves that deep. Most of these people have not met themselves that deep. They have no self-trust. How are you going to find something in the world that you yourself are not? And so let me pull up the definition of loneliness so that we get this one right, because most people don't understand what loneliness is. Most people assume that loneliness is, I don't have a relationship. Oh, I don't have people around me. That's not what loneliness is. Loneliness isn't about being alone. It's what happens when your sense of self is tied to something outside of you. So that when connection disappears, you feel like you disappear too. Think about the one girl. What did she say exactly? Let's go. And I have more definitions on that. Ready? What did she say? Why is it so hard to be single after being in a long-term relationship? You guys can answer that question. Why is it so hard to be single when she's been in a long-term relationship based on my definition of loneliness, or our definition of loneliness? Because her whole identity of who she is rooted in something external from her, is in this previous relationship. She has no sense of self. So, and when I say when you don't have sense of self, I'm really talking about you don't have a deep connection to yourself. And so that's what it is. When most people feel lonely, that's what it is. They haven't deeply found themselves. And that's why, even when I'm coaching, that's what it is. Most people are so codependent, right? They get absolutely destroyed when something doesn't work out. Think about my friend when the job that she wanted, that she assumed was going to be so amazing, almost didn't work out. What did she do? She freaked the fuck out because her identity became, oh, wow, I could be this. And sometimes that's why it's really hard when you get a taste of it. That's why for most people, right? First off, they're feeling disconnected from themselves. They don't realize that they're disconnected from themselves because, like I said, most people don't recognize this about themselves. They get into a relationship. Some person shows them how amazing that they are. They feel accepted and loved for the first time in forever, right? That's why most people feel happier in a relationship. Is not because relationships are the key to life. It's not because you need connection. It's because the gap that they feel in themselves is being filled by that other person. Most people, they get their self-acceptance from other people. So that's why when that person shows you a taste of what life can be when you feel whole, because they're making you feel whole. That's why when they switch up on you or you lose it, you're fucking desperate. You're desperate to get it back. That's why the girl that's in a situationship for 18 fucking months, that's why. Because you have this idea of what life would be if that person wasn't in it. And you're scared shitless of yourself. I mean, let's go back to that one for a second. I'm going to get back to the deeply connected to yourself thing. I want to read this one more time so you guys can hear it. It's important. It's important. What did she say? I'm torn between wanting to be chosen deeply and wanting to stay safe from being truly seen. What did she just admit out loud to us? She wants to be chosen deeply and she wants to be seen, but she's scared of being seen. What does that really mean? She's scared of herself. Most people are scared of themselves. And because she's scared of herself, what does she do? She wears a mask. What's the mask? An 18-month situationship that she knows is not right for her. Where do other people wear their mask where they don't trust themselves and they're not fully seen? Think about the earlier situation with that girl. I said, if you had the most amount of self-love and self-trust, what would you do in this situation? What did she say? Probably leave. Most people don't have that deep amount of self-trust. That's why I said most people on their commute, they're driving to a job that they don't really fucking love. Because they don't trust themselves. They are scared of being seen. They are scared of being themselves. But that is most people on the planet. And that's why we don't find these deep, genuine connections. And it's not because of other people. It's because you probably have not gone down to that fucking depth. So, what is the opposite of loneliness, right? Deeply being connected to yourself. What does deeply being connected to yourself truly mean? It means being connected to your body, your feelings, and your truth. Aloneness feels grounding, not empty. And what we're really saying is this: if you are grounded to your body, your feelings, your truth, there is nothing that can happen outside of you that could disconnect you from your peace. Because if you're choosing yourself and you're choosing your truth, you're typically choosing what feels in alignment with you. It doesn't mean those things won't be hard sometimes. That's what we talk about, doing the work. But the reality is if, for instance, my friend doesn't get that job, guess what? If she was grounded in herself and secure in herself, it wouldn't destroy her. The person that leaves the long relationship that is now single, what happens? It wouldn't destroy her. If she was deeply connected to herself, her truth, her feelings, she'd be grounded. Okay, this is where I'm at. I'm here. Think about the girl in this situation earlier. What's her truth, her feelings, her body? Get in your body. I tell you guys all the time, that's why we slow down. That's why we breathe. That's why we get our answers from our gut and not from our head. Because this is the key to life. This is the key to life. You want deep relationships. You want true love. You want genuine love. You want a job that you love. You want to spend every hour inspired doing the things that you want to fucking do. It's self-motherfucking trust. It's inner security. And it's not coming from the relationship that you want. It's not coming from making $100,000. It's not coming from the beach body. It's not coming from taking yourself on dates. Remember we talked about self-love last week? Everybody's like, self-love is going on a date by yourself. No, it's not. It's actually owning your truth, which could look like so many things. It could look like so many things. For that girl, it means leaving the relationship. Right? So for instance, that girl that's in the 18-month situationship, what's the advice? She has to start taking the risk of choosing herself. Let's go back to it really quick because I really love this situation. I really appreciate you for sending this in. Part of me craves warmth, closeness, and being special to someone. Pause right there. Pause right there. You crave warmth, you crave closeness, and you crave being special to someone. Take that same craving and now switch it to yourself. Choose warmth. Choose closeness. Choose being special to you. As a byproduct of that, you will find that. I promise you will. But the other part of me panics at the idea of real attachment, expectations, or dependency. What you just pretty much just said is that I am scared to choose myself based on the expectations of other people. So what do? You play small. You're a shell of yourself. A shell. And that's what I'm trying to say. You're doing it based on the opinions of everybody else out in the fucking world. But do they give you a medal for that? Do they clap for you? Hey, you followed my judgment. Good job. You played small for me because I would have called you a dumbass if you would have left that relationship. Good thing. Hey, I mean, take the girl earlier, right? Where she's like struggling to tell the guy her truth. What is that guy gonna... Everybody's afraid to be misunderstood. That's the best part. I'm afraid to be misunderstood. That means if you're afraid to be misunderstood, you're afraid to be yourself. Say it how it is, because that's the truth. Because what you're afraid of is your fucking truth, your honesty, your integrity to what you know is true to you underneath because of somebody else's fucking opinion. Because you're scared that if you are yourself and you choose the things that you know that you fucking love or that are so true to you, that someone's going to have a negative opinion about it. I'll give you an example from my life, right? So let me be really fucking vulnerable with you because I'm going to show you right now the self-trust. You know, I came on the podcast, 2 episodes ago, and I was talking about how I got to choose myself, that the girl that I was talking to, guess what? She's not a go-getter. She's not these things. I broke up with her ass, and I was like, hell yeah, chose myself. I don't need this shit. That's how I felt. In that moment, I swear to God, that's how I felt. It's true. It was true. It was authentic. It was honest. And then what happened? I came back on this podcast, and I was like, yeah, you know what? She texted me. And, you know, we kind of rekindled a little bit. That's hard for me to tell you, right? Why? Oh, Chris is a dating coach. He can't. Why would he do that? What a fucking idiot. Right? I don't believe this guy. This guy's a load of shit. You know what would prove to me that he's a really good coach is if he was in a relationship. Oh, if he was perfect and married, then I'd believe him. Nah, motherfucker, I'm a human being. I'm imperfect. I have things that I'm struggling with internally myself. But here's the part of security, and this is why and honestly, actually, I don't want to say that I'm struggling. Bad word. I'm discovering. There are things that I'm discovering about my true self every single fucking day. The work never ends. Because here's the other crazy motherfucking part. Here's the, oh my, you guys are getting me riled up today. Ooh, you're getting me riled the motherfuck up. No one knows who they are. If somebody on the fucking street turns around and tells you that they know who they are, they're fucking lying. They're lying. Because let me explain something to you. You will never, ever be able to fully see yourself. Because you can't see every assumption that you have. Every belief that you have generated from the time that you were a baby till this point is impossible to go see. It's impossible. It's too complex. Who you are as a person is too complex. When people say they know who they are, they usually default to what? If I asked you right now, right? If I asked you, I said, hey, who are you? What would you turn around and say to me? You'd say, oh, Chris, I'm hardworking. I'm loving. I'm a painter. I like long walks on the beach. I don't know. I like to drink Jameson and hang out with my friends on the weekends. Is that really who you are? Or are they just things that you do? Because let me ask you this question. If you stopped working today and you're a hardworking person, are you no longer a person? If you quit your job today, do you not exist anymore? Imagine if I turned around and I said, who are you? And some girl's like, I'm a wife. I'm a stay-at-home mom. You want this to get dark real quick? Well, let's say I murdered your husband. Guess who you are now? You're a widow. Oh my God, what? My point is this. Is that who she is? No, that's not who she is. She is so much deeper than that. She is way beyond that. You are way beyond that. That's why I said who you are is not a series of characteristics. It's not what you do. It's none of those things. If you really want to get fucking deep. I guess when I define who I am, I'm like, bro, I'm the awareness behind my feelings and sensations and perceptions. That's who I am. I'm not even technically Chris. Chris was the name that was given to me. Who am I really? I don't really know. And guess what? None of us know. None of us know where we've came from. None of us know who we truly are. And anybody that tells you any different is hearsay. It's a belief. God, guess what? Belief. It's a belief. Because people really fucking struggle with that. We want to explain who we are so bad. We want to know ourselves so fucking bad that we are willing to listen to anything and do anything to be it. Let go of knowing. Let go of being the person that knows who you are. And just be present. Just be the experience that you are living right now. That's all I am. All I am is an experience. I don't give a fuck. Judge me all you want. I am imperfect as fuck. I don't know who the fuck I am. I'm in this body and I'm just going, baby. And what do? I just choose things that make me feel good. I just choose things that I love and I'm really fucking present. So back to what I was saying about my own relationship. Right now, you know what I can do? Guess what? I'm somebody that I feel really tight when it comes to true commitment. I do. Every single girl I've ever dated, guess what? I feel like they haven't been enough for me. Facts. True. Every single one. That's my work. For me to understand deeply. Remember when I did that contemplation on a couple podcasts ago? And I got down to the root and I said, the reason that I'm not committing is because they're not perfect like I am. And that's my work. That's my experience. Somebody can judge me all they want. They can be like, Chris, you're a fucking idiot for going back to the... fuck yourself. I don't care. That's your opinion. That's your perspective. I have my own lived experience and I'm owning it. But here's what I know feels the best to me. And I'm going to communicate this to you because I think this is just the truth, in my opinion, right? It's a belief. All I can do, the most loving thing that I can do for another human being on this planet is just be so fucking honest and real about who I am and how I feel. That's it. And guess what I've told this girl that has came back into my life? You know, we're talking. I told her to her face, guess what? Committing to this and having boundaries, that feels tight to me. I don't want to do that. I think you're really cool. The more that I spend time with you, the closer I do feel to you. This is all facts. This to me, based on my experience, based on my feelings. And guess what? I don't fucking feel responsible anymore for somebody else. If she wants to stay here or if she has something to say about it, she can tell me. And that's what's great about these relationships is that I would never bash her. I will never be defensive. I will never take her down. She has a feeling. Let's communicate it. Let's talk about it. Something made you feel weird. You felt jealous about something. Tell me. Let's work on it. Because I'm going to tell you everything I feel too. Hey, this thing bothered me. Or hey, this thing made me feel like this. Today, she was standing there. She got a call on a phone and it's like no caller ID. I was like, hey, I'm going to be honest. That made me feel a little bit weird. I saw a notification. She's like, oh no, it was just a scam call. And she showed me. Cool. We're not together. She doesn't owe me that. She did it because she wanted to. But that's where I'm at. And that's what I'm trying to say is like, I used to feel so judged. So, oh my God, what if people think I'm an idiot? Go ahead. Go right ahead. I know where I am. I know my truth. I know my feelings. I'm going to share my feelings exactly as they are. Some people are going to respect it. Some people are going to enjoy it. Some people are going to fucking hate it. I don't care about being misunderstood anymore. And you know how free I fucking feel? Free as a motherfucker. You know how much deeper my relationship is? Yes, we might not have the commitment, but the conversations that we have are so fucking vulnerable, are so fucking real. That's how real this relationship is the fact that I could tell her that, hey, I'm not ready for that. That's where I'm at. But she doesn't feel disrespected because she knows I'm not hiding anything. I'm not hiding a single thing. And guess what? I'm open to experience. If something changes, that's what I'll do. And guess what? Here's the thing. And here's what I want you to understand. Everybody's a motherfucking victim in this world. That's really what it comes down to. But this is what I'm trying to say. It is not my problem if I tell somebody my truth and they have a certain feeling about it. And that's what you guys need to start understanding about yourselves. We are so attached to how other people are going to view us that we put down our truth for them. But then we wonder why we're doing and living a fucking life like this girl, right? Where I feel so unseen. Think about everybody that fucking commented today. Myself, insecurities, I can't meet genuine people, blah, 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 blah. Because everybody fucking feels inferior to the other. Ego is making you feel that you yourself is not enough. That your feelings is not enough. What you feel right now in this moment, your truth is your truth. Own it. And guess what? Here's the thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you about the girl that I'm talking to. If she turned around and told me, guess what? Hey, this doesn't feel good to me. Okay, see you later. Honesty. That door is wide the fuck open for us to have that conversation. That is not my job. My work is Chris is going to be honest with himself and with others as best and as most humanly possible. And that's why I said for my friend, remember when I texted her and I said, hey, attachment, I said desire without attachment. This is what I'm talking about. When she got mad at me for being dismissive, well, I wasn't dismissive. I respect your feelings. I respect them. We could have a conversation about it. But my truth was not to be dismissive. And too many people get fucking bullied by this fucking world, by the culture, by shit you see on fucking Instagram, by shit you see on TikTok, by your neighbor, by your family, by your friends. How quickly, you know how crazy it is? Think about this. Ask yourself this question. If somebody gives you negative energy or is angry with you or tells you a negative comment or tells you you did something wrong, what is most people's first instinct? Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't mean, whoa. So, my bad. You didn't make them feel that way. That's on them. Stop taking on their work. Stop taking on their emotions. What is your truth? Hey, actually, yeah, you're really angry right now, but guess what? I don't feel that way. Most people don't have that level of inner security. That's what it is. They don't. Most of the world, like I said, most of the world. You guys saw the comments. And so that's why dating doesn't feel genuine right now, is because guess what? Most people are not genuine. Most people are not in touch with their true feelings. Most people are not in touch with their truth. Most people don't own their truth. And everybody's scared of what everybody else thinks. So everybody's wearing a mask. Think about it. Imagine you're walking around the world right now and think about this. Most people that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, what's that fucking party with the masks? Party with the masks. Hold on. Masquerade. It's a fucking masquerade. You know what our culture is? A masquerade. Everybody's walking around with the self-concept that they want other people to see. You want to know what most people act in a relationship? Mask. Every single person. Most people. Because they're afraid of what? Oh, well, if I don't wear this mask, how is Sally going to view me? I need to be perfect. Why do I need to be perfect? I need to be perfect because what if I do something wrong? What is doing something wrong? Doing something wrong means somebody else other than me thinks that my truth is wrong. So what do? Mask. I go to fucking Costco. I never go to Costco. I go to Trader Joe's. I'm walking in that store. Why do you think I'm able to just freewheel do Chris? Say whatever the fuck I want. My dick's out. You know what I mean? If I fucking went up to somebody, I was like, boo! I just scared them. They'd be like, oh. They wouldn't know what to do. Because they're computing in their head, how do I behave in this situation? How do I behave? How do I make person around me happy? Everybody's a fucking zombie. How do I make everybody around me happy? You're zombies. You're all fucking zombies. That's what you are. I guess I didn't give you guys a lot of relationship help, did I? No, I did. Because what this really just means is, and what I've been trying to tell you guys in general, it's you're not lonely. You're disconnected from yourself. You're disconnected from your feelings. You're disconnected from your truth. And you're struggling to live your truth. And this is why you're choosing relationships where you're not feeling seen. This is why when a relationship leaves you, you think it's the end of the world and that you died. Because to be honest, everything that you built, that mask that you were wearing to try to get the peace and the happiness that you wanted failed because you're a people pleaser. And then you're sitting here like, oh my God, my life is over. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just like remember I told you guys the example of the wife that I just murdered her husband? Pfft. Is her life over? Guess what? Not really. It might feel that way, but it's not. And I'm not saying that you can't experience pain. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is who you are is so much deeper than what you think. You haven't even scratched the surface of your own authenticity. And it's what keeps you held back and what makes you feel this way. But the more that you choose yourself, the more that you get in touch with your feelings and choose your truth and stop letting the world bully you, the more happy and peaceful you're going to feel. You know how freeing it is to be where I am right now in this fucking chair? I can just give you guys the middle finger. Fuck you guys. Fucking eat my dick. Eat my ass. Eat my motherfucking ass. I hope this podcast is on the speakers right now. You might turn out, ew, that guy is gross. Eat my ass. Honestly, eat my ass. Because the real ones know. The real ones know. The ones that I'm meant to be with, no. The people that are not meant to be in my life, gone. The reason this podcast doesn't have perfect reviews is because guess what? If it had perfect reviews, I'm living for your fucking approval. That's me being Jay Shetty, be like, oh my God, tell me about love. Love is like a flower and you just gotta pluck it. You know, fuck you. Fuck you. Ridiculous. Maybe I think I'm smarter than everybody. Guess what? I guess that's my ego. That's why I gatekeep all my books, because I'm like, if these people get this shit, they're gonna feel so happy. I'm so fucked. No, I give it to you. I really do. I give you the things that I learn and I fucking throw it up back on you. And yeah, I hope you realize, I guess, like, I don't know. It really is from a place of love. Genuinely. It really is. I don't know where this fucking went, but it went somewhere, and I know it went somewhere because I felt it in my belly. And if I felt it in my belly, guess what? It's good. That's how it is. And yeah, how it lands, I don't know. I guess I don't really fucking control. Here's the truth. if you want to work on your inner security, you want to be a happier, more free, more confident person, I'm sitting right here. I'm telling you, I can get you cleaned up in 3 months. Give me 3 months. That's all I need. I don't need longer than that. 12 weeks. Bing, bang, boom. We'll get to the root of it. We'll get to the root of your insecurities. We'll get to the root of your fears. We'll let go of it. We'll take the action to be our true self. You will not feel like I had somebody reach out to me today or 2 days ago, and he was like, my girlfriend broke up with me and I'm fucking throwing up and I'm crying. And I'm like, dude, no inner sense of self. He was like, can you give me a book recommendation? I'm like, dude, no book is going to fix that. There's so much deep insecurity there that you need outside help. You need it. Pay the money, invest in yourself. Let's go. What are we doing? All right. I love you guys. And yeah, I don't know. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Go do something for yourself. Maybe right after this podcast, turn it off. Breathe, go meditate. Seriously, get in silence, because guess what? What do we avoid? We avoid ourselves. We distract the shit out of ourselves with relationships, bullshit, TV, social media. Turn it all off. Turn it all off. Just get into silence for 15 fucking minutes. Well, it's too hard. Insecure. Get into silence. Get into your belly. Get into your stomach. Nice, slow breathing. Ask yourself, I'll leave you guys off with this question. In what places of your life are you suppressing your true self? In what place of your life are you suppressing your true self? Where do you feel the most pressure in your life right now? And I can guarantee you that the place that you feel the most pressure in your life is where you have an underlying truth that is true to you that you are struggling to communicate or let out to other people or to the world. As a guaranteed stamp. Poof. All right. Well, love you guys. Ooh, it's me kissing you. Oh, love you guys. Goodbye.